Now to turn this off. Like deep, I like deep. This is so embarrassing. Hello everybody. I wanted to talk about something that I think is really funny, kind of embarrassing for me. I actually sent my boyfriend out of the house to go fishing because I didn't want to discuss this in front of him, but then I'm going to post it, so it's funny how that happens. Anyway, I want to talk about my sexual fantasies.
Great Scott. I know, this is heavy.
I'm very quirky. I'm kind of strange. I really love fantasy. I've really loved romance novels. So my sexual fantasies are different. They're very different. But I did think that it was something that people would find entertaining and maybe you were interested in. So that's why I'm sharing it with you. I'm trying to not make this inappropriate for YouTube. It is going to be 18 plus content. I want to put like a little filter or whatever on it. But I'm going to try to make it informative. Okay, so I'm going to start off by saying I have like a little checklist to go by. Anyway, I read a lot of historical romance novels growing up. I found my first romance novel when I was like 13, and I found it in the school library. And it was really, really explicit and graphic in the sex scenes, and I loved every second of it. And I became obsessed with reading those types of books afterwards. And I can honestly say I've probably read over 100 of these historical romance novels. And all of them historical. They have to be historical.
Well, well.
I love like bodices and like the ripping of the bodices and shit. It's like, I don't know. It just does it for me. But yeah, anyway, a few of my favorite authors are going to be Joanna Lindsey, and a few of her, the titles that like pique my interest are things like A Pirate's Love, Gentle Rogue, A Loving Scoundrel. And then there's Lisa Kleypas, Devil in Spring, Marrying Winterborn, Cold Hearted Rake. Maybe you're like, you know, you're seeing a pattern. These are things that I kind of live for. It's my pornography. So yeah, basically, when I fantasize, and I'm not talking about watching porn or pornography. I don't really watch a lot of pornography, and when I watch something, it's always hentai, and I don't like following storylines when I'm visually watching something. I just like to skip ahead to the penetration.
I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
That's just what I like. But if I'm fantasizing about something and I'm using my imagination, I like to have context, I like to have a storyline. And all of my storylines are really silly, but for some reason they do it for me. So I'm going to share, common characters that appear in my fantasies. I really like pirates. I like pirates a lot. Pirate captains, specifically. I like mermaids. Mermaids appear a lot. They always have. Barbarians. Fair maidens, kings, princesses, and yeah, there you go. So this is so embarrassing. So a common fantasy that I've had, and I've had this fantasy for a long time, probably since I was a teenager, and I still kind of do it, and I do different variations of it. And I don't know why it works. I don't, but it does. Anyway, so I like pirate captains.
I'm Charles Vane.
And not just any pirate captain, romance novel worthy pirate captain. So my pirate captain is 6'5". He's rugged, he's handsome, he's super fit, and he has a big penis. And then the backstory that I make up in my head.
Open your eyes.
Is he like okay, so there's like a myth about mermaids and they're really, really rare, but you know, if you like follow enough clues or whatever, you can come across a mermaid cove. And you know, once you, I guess, mate with a mermaid, the mermaid becomes bonded to you forever. And mermaids are extremely beautiful in my mind, and very sexual. You know, they want to have sex. They don't come across a lot of people. Also, my mermaids grow feet when they're taken out of water. So that's how they end up having sex. And anyway, my very attractive, rugged pirate captain finds his mermaid, or finds this cove, and he searches long and far and whatever. Mermaid's willing, mermaid wants it. But that's just my backstory. That's the backstory that I make up in my head. And there's like certain things that turn me on when I start playing through the foreplay and everything. Something I really like in foreplay is like big boobs. I like a lot of like groping and stuff, and like my female characters always have really, really big boobs. And so like that's one thing that turns me on. And then my pirate captain, like I said, he has a big dick. And you know, without being too explicit, I guess works his way into her slowly, kind of, you know, stretching her out a bit. Even though it's funny, I don't like it too big in person. I've actually tried that and it hurts, but it works in my fantasy, and it still works in my fantasy. Another thing, so like that's something I like, so I like the slow process of working it in and focusing on that. And then I also really like the idea of, you know, the man trying to get as deep into the mermaid as possible. Like deep, I like deep. The idea of deep turns me on a lot. And yeah, those are like the key points that I kind of hit. And I kind of focus on all that happening while the groping is happening, and it just always works for me. And then another fantasy I have that's equally as silly is I like to look. I guess like the backstory is a king. It's obviously an arranged marriage or whatever, or a prince, whatever. He's marrying a princess, and they haven't met each other till that day. And they're both very physically like attracted to each other and kind of pleased with the match, and he's looking forward to it. And then I like to imagine their wedding night. And then obviously she's a virgin, but she's attracted to him, but she's shy. And then I like to hit all the key components again in this fantasy, where he goes slow and like works his way in, and you know, gets as deep as he wants to go, or deep as he possibly can. Like the deeper the better. That is something I like. I like deep. And then always like finishing deep and inside. That's what I like too, if I get that far. Because typically once I'm done and I've kind of did my thing, I don't really need to finish the storyline. But yeah, pretty ridiculous, I must say. And it's funny to me because I've had so many sexual experiences. I've had a lot of sex, and I've had a lot of great sex, and I've done a lot of experimenting in the bedroom, and reality just doesn't do it for me. I love fantasy. I love fantasy so much, and I don't know, I don't really fantasize about anything modern day. Henry Cavill, I'll fantasize about Henry Cavill, but literally only because he's played The Witcher, which is just set in a different universe. It's fantasy, which is why I fantasize about him. So yeah, I'm definitely quirky, and that was really embarrassing, but I think it's funny and entertaining, and I hope you liked it, and I hope you learned something. Thank you for watching.